Alright, what is up, folks? TGIF, a happy Friday. Welcome back to my channel. Obviously, lately I've been talking a lot about the immigration population collapse, right? These Asian women, they feel so insecure all the time. They want to be white so bad. Let's look at this matter from a completely different perspective. I think this is one aspect that everybody is missing out on. We gotta, do a really deep dive. We gotta really think outside of the box, right? Here's a crazy statistic that's coming out of China. So in 2016, so just 10 years ago, China registered 16 million births. Okay, 16 million births. We compare this to India. So in India, in the year of 2016, India had 25 million births. Guess how many births China had in the year of 2025? Yeah, what do you think? 15, 14, 13 million? No, it's down to 7.9 million. In just 10 years, it's less than half. Yeah, the number of births in China just from 2024 to 2025 dropped by 17%. That's just over the course of 1 year. And ever since record keeping began all the way back in 1950s, ever since the founding of the People's Republic of China, right, when China's population was just 540 million, China has never ever registered a low number like this, right? So this is a record low for China. And keep in mind, right, back in 1950, China had 540 million people. Now at 1.4 billion, China is registering less and less births every single year. And just to provide some context, so I think a lot of African nations, they're right about this. So yes, there's a population explosion that's happening, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. But you also have to keep something else in mind, right? So, for example, the country of Nigeria. So Nigeria has about 240 million people. Last year, Nigeria registered 7.6 million births. So remember that. So they're almost on level in terms of the number of births. But you're talking about one country has 240 million people, the other country has 1.4 billion. So it is expected that in the year of 2026, Nigeria will have more births than all of China combined. And let's put it into context. Let's compare, the number of births to Europe. So I'm talking about the entire European continent as a whole. So Europe, the combined population of all European countries is about 745 million. And last year, all of Europe registered about 6.3 million births. So, 6.3 million is a lot less versus China's 7.9, but China has almost doubled the population. Yeah, that means that, China's birth rate is probably similar to South Korea now. And inevitably, what's going to happen is that at the current projection rate, probably before the year of 2200, all of the ethnic Chinese people will disappear from the face of Earth. Yeah, that's how severe this crisis is. And you guys might think the title is crazy, right? Why I talk about, we need to bring back, the PAAG, the PAG, the fat ass Asian girls, right? So I'll give you guys a great example. So some of the beauty standards, what is considered to be like a 10 out of 10 for a Chinese girl. So look at this singer. So her name is Deng Ziqi. So her stage name, I guess, she calls herself Gem, Gem. So okay. You look at this nice little Asian girl. She's 5 feet 1 inch tall. Right, she's very small, she's very petite, so she's a singer, and she's based in Hong Kong. She was born in Shanghai. But here's the thing. If you go to the city of Shanghai, I mentioned this, a lot of people say Shanghai has the most beautiful Chinese woman. So if you go to Shanghai, okay, there's 24 million people, 12 million women. And let's say if you just look at the woman, let's say that's 8 out of 10 or above. That's the top 20% of women. If you go to Shanghai, you'll find 2.4 million Chinese women that looks just like her. But if you go to Shanghai, can you find yourself a Chinese woman that looks like, let's say, Megan Thee Stallion? Or someone, that absolutely blew up all over the internet a few years back, right? So that Mexican girl, Janet Garcia. So, zero. Just take a walk around any major Chinese city. Go to Hong Kong, go to Shenzhen, go to Beijing, go to Shanghai, go to Chengdu, go to Chongqing. You almost never ever see Chinese woman that looks like that. And this is what I mean. So the African countries have this right. For example, in Nigeria, right, they have their own beauty standard. They have literally banned all forms of advertising that involves European women. And there's no European woman that's coming to Nigeria that's signing these multi-million-dollar contracts, Because you guys have to keep in mind the beauty standard for man and woman are completely different. I mentioned this in the past, right? Yeah, I just went to China for 6 months. I traveled to 24 different cities. I did not see one, not even one single big fat Chinese woman, because fat shaming is 100% real. And yeah, let's make something crystal clear, okay? Some women are just 100% fat, okay? So, someone like Lizzo, that's just fat. Although I have to give her credit, she has actually been losing some weight. So, good for Lizzo. So, there's a difference between curvy versus just being fat. Just look at this girl here. Yeah, this is a Japanese pole dancer. This is what I mean. This is a PAAG, the fat ass Asian girl. And look at this plus-sized Korean supermodel. I mean, look at that, right? Yeah, you walk around any major Asian city, right? You can go to Seoul, you can go to Tokyo, right? You can go to Osaka. You almost never ever see Asian girls that look like that. And the Asian beauty standard is extremely unhealthy. And obviously, I mentioned before, right? They don't like, being dark-skinned. There's a saying in China, it's called 白遮白丑. This roughly translates to, being white will cover over 100 imperfections. This is the same in every single Asian country, right? They view being white as God, and if you're black, if you're dark-skinned, well, then you're the devil. And part of the reason why I said, a lot of Asian countries, they don't like black people. That's just how the world works, right? JBW, 100% real. Everybody wants to be white so bad. That's why, I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? So, if it's a scorching hot summer day, sometimes you see these Asian women, and when they go in the public, they're wearing jackets, they're wearing sunglasses, they have hats on, they go out with a mask, with an umbrella. Well, this is because they're so afraid of just getting a tiny little bit of suntan, right? They're so afraid of just turning a little bit dark, because white is the standard of beauty. And also the beauty standard, just like that singer Gem I showed you guys earlier, right? So, the Chinese beauty standard is that, the woman has to be small, the woman has to be petite, right? She has to have a very small nose. The Chinese, they don't like big nose. And that she also has to have the Chinese, they also hate large lips. So yeah, if you're fat, if you have dark skin, if you have a big nose, if you have big lips, yeah, the Chinese, they absolutely hate that, right? So that's their beauty standard. They want everybody to look like that girl. They want everybody to look like Jim, right? This sweet, innocent, 5'1", like 90 pounds, nice little Asian girl. That's their beauty standard. And that's the part of the reason why all Asians look the same. Because, yeah, there's no variety, right? If Asian women can actually have the body of someone like Yana Garcia or Megan Thee Stallion, I mentioned before, they would be absolutely unstoppable. This white worshipping in China has been happening for decades. I mentioned before when I was growing up, right? They tell all of these Chinese women, right? Who is the most beautiful woman in the world, right? The Chinese, they love, number one, they love the Russians. Number two, they love the Ukrainians. So yeah, you can look up, these modeling agencies that bring these super tall Russian and Ukrainian women to China. It's been happening for decades, right? These, 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", these white women with the insanely long legs. They dominate the cosmetic business all over China. They dominated the beauty industry, the advertising industry. You walk anywhere in China, you see these European models, mostly Russian or Ukrainian, with insanely long legs. And yeah, when I was growing up, I was always told, right, the beauty standard, you have, the tennis player, 6'2", Maria Sharapova. There's also that Russian pole vaulter, Elena Isinbayeva. Yeah, I agree, she has an absolutely amazing body, but you have to keep in mind, God made you for a reason, and, we're meant to be different. And when you're constantly shoving these agendas, when you're constantly shoving these propagandas, basically running the face of these Asian women, obviously the average white woman does not look like, the woman they see in these commercials, on these posters. The average white woman does not look like Livy Dunn or Sydney Sweeney or Maria Sharapova. And what this does to all of these Asian women is that it makes them extremely insecure. It makes them absolutely hate themselves. And that's, a major contributing factor as to why so many of these Asian women, when they get a chance to immigrate, when they move to a Western country, so many of them, they will look for a white man. You guys want to know something that's very interesting? I mentioned, right, like Vancouver is the race mixing capital of the world, right? So, yeah, a lot of these Asian women, if they enter a relationship or marriage with, let's say, another Asian guy, Chinese guy, Korean guy, Japanese guy, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, oftentimes, right, they will ask their Asian partner, they'll say that, okay, cost of living is too expensive. Why don't we just become dinks? We can adopt a couple of cats or a couple of dogs, right? Yeah, I'm just telling you guys that is 100% real. However, every single woman that, ends up with a snow puppy in the West, every single woman that ends up with a white man, they will never ever tell their white partner, oh, let's just not have any kids. Let's become dinks. Let's adopt a couple of dogs. They will always want to have a mixed race kid. Yeah, and when they're raising their mixed race children, doesn't matter if it's a son or a daughter, they will always tell their kid who is half white that they have to, find another white partner. Doesn't matter if it's a white man or a white woman. So basically, they can purify their genes so that her grandkids will look almost 100% white. And once again, a lot of it is, propaganda from day one. Yeah, these Chinese girls growing up, every single day they're told that, they have to be white, right? You have to wear a mask when you go out in the public to avoid any suntan, right? Put on glasses, put on a hat, have an umbrella, put on long sleeves, right? Even during a scorching hot summer day, they tell them that, 白遮白丑, right? Being white will cover over 100 ugly imperfections, right? Being curvy is 100% ugly. They have to be as skinny as possible, right? They cannot put on any weight. They have to have an extremely small nose. They have to have extremely small lips. And yeah, all of these Chinese women, they're being lied to since day one. They have all been indoctrinated. They have all been brainwashed. And keep in mind, the reason why all of this has been allowed to happen is that, well, think about it like this. Here's a crazy stat, right? What is the combined population of all NATO countries? All NATO countries combined, right? 962 million. Every single member of NATO combines for less than 1 billion. And China has 1.4 billion, right? Indonesia, the fourth most populous country on earth, Indonesia, 277 million people. Japan, 120 million, right? Philippines, also roughly 120 million. Vietnam, just over 100 million, right? Thailand, 70 million. A lot of these Asian countries, they have these massive populations. And of course, what's going to happen is that, if you make these Asian women feel extremely insecure from day one, right? These women are going to constantly think that, oh my God, I'm so ugly, I'm so ugly, I'm so ugly. I have to change everything about myself. And a lot of these Asian women, they will take out, payday loans. They will take out line of credit. They will max out their credit cards in order to get all of these cosmetic procedures done. The number one that's most popular is skin bleaching. It is rampant. Not just in China, also in South Korea, in Japan, right? In Philippines, in Thailand, all over Southeast Asia. Yeah. Every single Asian woman, maybe not all of them have tried it, but every single Asian woman has contemplated on skin bleaching at some point. And nowadays also, yeah, plastic surgery is rampant, right? Not just in South Korea, it's throughout Asia, everywhere. That's why nowadays, look at all of those K-pop stars. Yeah, why do you think all Asians look the same? Because yeah, basically, it's very, very easy to tell if someone has had a plastic surgery on their face. Right, it doesn't matter if it's a Latin woman or white woman or black woman or Native American or Indian or Chinese, right? Once they've had, all of these medical procedures done on their face, they're going to just look absolutely horrible. Their face is going to look fake and 100% robotic. And you look at all of the K-pop girls, right? Look at the newer generation. Literally, they all look the same because they've all had plastic surgery done on their face. And they want all of these Korean girls to look like Jinny or Jisoo or Rose. Although I have to say, I'm not a big fan of Rose. I think she's just one of those girls who just wants to be white so bad. I mean, and Lisa looks a little bit weird to me. Lisa, she's mixed race, half German, half Thai. Jinny is alright. Jinny is pretty cute. I would say my favorite member of Blackpink is definitely Jisoo. Jisoo is definitely my number one, I would say. And yeah, coming back to, Nigeria, right? The stuff I'm talking about, okay, this does not happen, right, in a country like Nigeria, because the government has taken drastic measures in a lot of these African countries to make sure that this form of white worshipping will never ever take place. And I think China absolutely must follow suit. They must end, literally, they have to ban all of these Russian and Ukrainian models from coming into China because it does have a immense psychological effect on the local Chinese woman. And also, right, a lot of people don't want to talk about this. It's an extremely difficult topic. A lot of Chinese women are also infertile now, right? You talk about the birth rate, right? So China last year had 7.9 million, right? And Nigeria with 240 million people, right? A population that's 6 times less versus China, but they had 7.6 million births, right? So, oh yeah, think about, the African beauty standard, right? Think about, what is the poster girl for a black woman. Okay, probably someone, let's say, I'll use Megan Thee Stallion again. By the way, I don't look up to Megan Thee Stallion. I think she's a terrible role model for the African American community. But I'm talking about, when you think about, a black girl's body, you think about, someone like Megan Thee Stallion, right? So, yeah, that is a sign of virility. That is a sign of fertility. And that is why, right, in sub-Saharan Africa right now, they have the highest fertility rate in the world, right? When a woman's built like Megan Thee Stallion, with those kind of curves, right, when you have these extremely ripe peachy bottoms and we have these extremely juicy watermelons, right, they can get impregnated so easily. They can all pop out 5, 6, 7, 8 children. However, when you look at someone like Gem, Deng Ziqi, the Chinese singer from Shanghai, right, look at a woman like that. Yeah, oftentimes, right, that's the beauty standard in China, and it's the same thing with every single Asian country. They all want their woman to look like that. They all want their woman to be 5'1", to be tiny, to be sweet and innocent. But with a physique like that, oftentimes a woman will suffer from infertility. It's 100% real. I mentioned the case with my sister. She's had one abortion. She's also had one miscarriage. By the way, my sister is much older now, right? She has the mom bod, if that's what you want to call it, right? You guys know the dad bod. So my sister is 43 now. Now she's got the mom bod. She's pretty fat now. So, but back in the day, yeah, back when she was in her 20s, she used to follow the exact same guidelines as the Chinese beauty standard, right? Throughout her 20s, before she had her first child, she was probably anywhere between 90 to 100 pounds maximum. Yeah, and she really struggled with getting pregnant. She has had one miscarriage. And it was during her second marriage. I remember it was the May of 2012, and I traveled with my mom to Inner Mongolia because her second husband, he was from Inner Mongolia, and we went to the hospital to visit her. She was about to give birth, and I would say, yeah, there was hundreds of pregnant Chinese women. This is April to May of 2012 at this hospital in Inner Mongolia. Yeah, something that absolutely shocked me. Most of them, I would say over 80%, they cannot give birth naturally. Yeah, this is one of the problems with the extreme beauty standard in China, and they want all of these Asian women to be super skinny, to be super small. Yeah, it's going to cause infertility, and even for the ones who do get pregnant. My sister, she had a C-section. She's had 2 kids in total. Both of her kids, she was forced to get a C-section because there was no activity in her cervix, right? She could not push out the babies. And yeah, I still remember that was spring of 2012. Probably 80 to 90% of the Chinese women at the hospital, they could not give birth naturally. They've also had the C-section done at the hospital, right? So yeah, this beauty standard at this point is on the verge of being demonic because yeah, it is causing a lot of women to be infertile, and even the ones who can get pregnant, they cannot push out their baby naturally, right? For a woman to be 100% naturally healthy, right? I mean, the ideal curve, you have to be looking at someone like Yana Garcia or Megan Thee Stallion. That is actually a healthy body for a modern woman, right? The ideal beauty standard for these modern Asian women, it's absolutely destroying these Asian women from inside out. And also you have to think about it like this, right? I mentioned before, obviously I've been getting pretty out of shape, but yeah, I'm about to leave my job in about 5 weeks time, and the number one thing on my agenda is that I will get my body back to shape. I've gone through the entire process, right? It is so easy, right? If you just let it loose, right? If every single day you just start eating Popeyes, Dairy Queen, KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's, in 1 month's time, right, you can easily put on 30 pounds or even more, right? 1 pound per day. Easily, no problem at all. But now, right, if you want to reverse this process, right, if you want to lose the 30 pounds that you gained from just letting it loose over the course of a month, I mean, it's going to be almost impossible. The fastest you could do it, it will probably take you 5 to 6 months, right? It takes you 1 month to put on 30 pounds, but if you want to lose it, it's going to take you 5 or 6 months, right? Because I've gone through the exact same process, right? So the only way for these women to keep that kind of physique, right, to be, let's say, 5'2" and weight, let's say, 87 pounds, the only way possible is that, yeah, they have to intentionally starve themselves. Yeah, if you guys don't believe me, go watch any Chinese commercial, right? Go watch any Chinese movie. Go watch any popular Chinese series. Just look at all of those women. Yeah, they literally all look the same, right? There's no fat-ass Asian girl. There's no Asian Megan Thee Stallion or Annette Garcia, right? All of them look the same. All of them look like this. Yeah, basically, yeah, this is their body shape. Every single one of them. And the only way to achieve that kind of physique is that, yeah, every single day. Do you know what's the number one most popular food for a lot of these Chinese women, these models, these actresses? It's a Master Kong instant noodles. Yeah, they probably eat it 5, 6, 7 days a week. And what do you guys think that's going to do to your body in the long term, right? And on top of that, they probably drink maybe 2, 3, 4 cups of black coffee every single day. And they have to weigh themselves constantly 2, 3, 4 times a day. And sometimes, you know, if they realize they put on an extra 1 or 2 pounds, they will force themselves to vomit. And also this form of extreme beauty standard, right? Forcing this woman to be extremely small, petite, and skinny all the time. Well, this is going to lead to a dramatic decline in relationships, in marriages, in family formations, in friendships. Because what's going to happen is that, right? So some Chinese guys are going to come along and tell this girl that, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Hey, why don't I take you out on a date on Friday night? There's this beautiful restaurant by the river. How about a date night Friday night? Let's go for a fancy dinner. But well, this Chinese woman is going to think, oh my God, if I have a really, really fancy steak dinner or something, if I have a butter poached lobster or something, well, that's going to add 3 pounds to my body. And it's going to take me at least 2 weeks to lose the extra 3 pounds. And she's going to think twice about going on a date with this Chinese guy. She's going to think that, oh my God, the last thing I want to do is just to gain on just a tiny bit of weight. So actually, no, I'm going to turn this guy down. And what about you have a bunch of friends, right? Let's say, you know, Friday, Saturday night, you know, you just want to go for a relaxing night, right? A bunch of guys and girls at university, you just want to go to downtown, you just want to have some fun, and you want to go to a bubble tea shop, and this girl's going to think that, oh my God, if I order like a large cup of bubble tea, that's like 430 calories. And no, that's going to be terrible for my body because, you know, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. So yeah, that's why, you know, I've covered before why South Korea is, you know, literally the most depressing country on earth. Not even North Korea can compete. Yes, yeah. If you look at the global happiness index, South Korea, it is the most depressing, the most miserable country on earth because this kind of a beauty standard for women, it's 100% cancer. It's destroying them from inside out, mentally, psychologically, physically. Because these women, in order to achieve that kind of body, in order to achieve that kind of physique, right, to look like Jisoo, yeah, they have to avoid all friendships, they have to avoid all dates, right? They cannot be eating any meat. A lot of them they're eating Master Kong instant noodle and drinking black coffee every single day. They're forcing themselves to vomit, and that is exactly why, right? If you look at you know, the fertility rates worldwide, right? Which countries have the lowest birth rates? Because it's not Canada or the US or the UK or France or Italy or Spain. It's China, it's Singapore, it's Japan, it's South Korea. Because yeah, the beauty standard in these countries is destroying all of these Asian women. And also another factor you guys must consider, well, a lot of these women, they're going to be terrified about getting pregnant because they're going to think that, oh my God, right? My face is going to be stretched out, right? My arms are going to be stretched out. My hands are going to be massive. I'm going to have huge clown feet, right? My waist is going to be completely stretched out. And of course, you know, I'll lose most of the weight after giving birth. But what if I never go back to my original physique ever again? Right, so yeah, it's going to give a lot of women nightmares. They're going to be shell-shocked. They're going to have PTSD. And a lot of them, they will simply avoid getting married. They will simply avoid children because they have this fear in the back of their mind. Because, yeah, they don't want to put on 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Right, at the end of the day, it's just biological reality. My sister, yeah, she's pretty fat now. But yeah, I mean, she's also 43 years old. She's turning 44 this year. At some point, everybody has to be 100% honest with themselves, right? Let's face it, it's same for both man and woman. We both have a biological clock. You know, your body at the age of 40 is not going to be the same versus your body at the age of 20. It's just a biological reality. At some point, you just have to embrace the dad bod and the mom bod, right? Once you get impregnated, once you've given birth to at least one child, once you've had multiple children, your body is just not going to be the same. You're going to be different. And yeah, you're going to be a little bit curvier. And yeah, we have to tell these Asian women that it's 100% okay because yeah, everybody has a biological clock and all of our bodies are going to change. We have to stop telling all of these women to force them to be skinny all the time. All of this has been allowed to happen is because, like I said, Asia has such massive population, and the global cosmetic industry generates roughly 700 billion US dollars in revenue per year. All of this was orchestrated by the elites, right? To brainwash all of these Asian women worldwide into thinking that they're ugly all the time, into thinking that they will never ever be good enough. And there's this massive negative stereotype about the Asian eyes. I don't know why it gets so much hate and so much negative comments. Personally, I think the Asian eyes are, they're very unique, and I find them to be very attractive, right? You guys can look up the actress Alina Lee. I mean, she's a different kind of actress, but she has those very, very strong features of the Asian eyes. And yeah, I think they're very unique, they're very sexy, and I don't know why so many Asians, they feel so insecure about, having the Asian eye. And I think that is exactly why China needs to follow the steps of all of these African countries, all of these European women advertising, right? So the Russians and Ukrainian models, right? All of their modeling contract in China has to end, right? No more European advertising in the Chinese market. Absolute zero. China needs to embrace their own beauty standard. And like for a woman to look like this, it's 100% cancer. More Chinese women need to embrace this kind of beauty standard, because this is 100% fertile. This is 100% healthy for a woman, right? If you want the birth rates to actually bounce back one day, if you want to save these countries from a total population collapse, you cannot have 98% of the women that's built like this. Because even during my mom's generation, obviously during my mom's generation, no internet, no social media, this really, really extra small like beauty standard, that's not really a thing in China, right? Everybody was fertile, and my mom gave birth to my sister and to me naturally. But when it came to my sister's generation, right, 80% of the women at the hospital in Inner Mongolia, they all had C-section. They could not give birth naturally because they're all built like this. And just on a personal note, right, these European women that the Chinese has been worshipping for decades now, I never really found them to be attractive because, right, male and female attraction is not symmetrical. That's why, half of the women in the WNBA are lesbians, because guys are not into that. I'm not really attracted to a woman who is, absolutely shredded, a track and field athlete who is like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". If you guys want to ask me, obviously I've listed my celebrity crushes before, but I mean, that's like God tier. But in real life, who would I say is the most perfect, let's say, white snow bunny to marry, right? So, I mean, if you're going to white worship, I would say, yeah, my real white girl crush, right, outside of the God tier in real life, probably Misha Petrov. Yeah, you can look up Misha's YouTube channel. She's quite popular on YouTube. Once in a while, I do watch her contents. I just love her for her personality. I think she has a 10 out of 10, top 1% personality. Absolutely incredible. Very, very charming, full of energy, very positive. Although I don't understand why her name is Petrov, because obviously she's a girl. It should be Petrova, right? Because Petrov is the masculine version. In Russia, like all of the women, they had the Va, like Yelena Isinbayeva or Maria Sharapova. So I don't know why it's not Misha Petrova. Maybe she's related to Stanislav Petrov. So yeah, it's a pretty cool last name. But I would say, yeah, she's that sweet, innocent, nice little white girl that's next door, right? If you're going to worship someone, don't worship Maria Sharapova, right? Worship Misha Petrov or Petrova. And I want to finish the video by referencing this song by Alessia Cara. You guys know that song? Scars to Your Beautiful. So there's a part of the song that goes something like this, right? There's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. You don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. The scars to your beautiful, the stars were beautiful. Oh. Yeah, I think that's a great song by Alessia Cara. And yeah, I think so many women worldwide, it doesn't matter where your religion is, doesn't matter where your nationality is, it doesn't matter where your ethnic background is. Yeah, I think, yeah, every single woman worldwide should listen to that song. And I think so many of them can relate 100%. they can relate this song to their own personal struggles. There's a reason why God created you. There's a reason why God brought you into this world. We're all meant to be different. And yeah, that is why it's so important, right? If all of these Asian countries, if they want to save themselves from this population collapse, right? And if they want to see another baby boom, if they want to see more friendships, if they want to see more relationships, more marriages, more family formations, more children, then yeah, this insane, absurd beauty standard has to end, right? China needs to embrace their own beauty standard. And yeah, we need to bring back the big, busty Asian woman. We need the fat ass Asian girls. That is the only way these Asian countries can save their future. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and watching it all the way until the end. If you guys have enjoyed the contents of this video, please consider subscribing to this channel and turning on the notification button. I hope you guys will have an amazing weekend. I will be coming back to this topic. I will see you guys back on this channel for Monday. Thank you guys.
So cold outside, I'm alone.